Okay. So when are you using the W?
I'll say I really haven't used the W yet. It's
Okay. All
more of
right.
the health is a journey. Um,
Okay.
and I guess that's my question. I don't know when to implement these for
Okay.
most effectiveness.
No, no problem. No problem. This is no problem. Okay. So you're doing the stress test, right?
Yeah.
Okay. On the second visit, right? Before you go over the report,
First visit.
you do the second day report.
Yeah.
Okay. What when you get it the first day, are you going over anything about the scans or X-rays or anything on the first day?
Um, Not a lot, no. I save
Okay.
that for the second visit.
All right.
Um, if I go over the scan, what I will do is say, white is normal, green, blue, red, mild, moderate, severe, and we're seeing some severe areas here. These are areas of nerve interference. Um, so, I'm concerned about these areas.
Okay. So first off, so so do you remember the last stress test you did? Not really, or okay. Let's okay, no problem. No, no. So let's use this for example. So, okay, Mike, you took the stress test. Um, and when did stress start? In your childhood years, most people might say, even the older ones go, well, it didn't start till, 50, 60. That's wrong. So, anyways, say they say 10. So this is before I show you your scans and x-rays, let me show you something. Um, health is a journey, sickness is a journey. So I'm going to mark 10 in this age part here. Okay.
Yeah.
You're aware that stress started, even though you weren't aware. You're a 10-year-old kid. You didn't know anything about stress, but you can see your parents got divorced. You played gymnast, you played hockey, whatever. So basically, stress causes subluxation, as you can see, and your health starts to decline. And there's no symptoms usually on the beginning. And look in the middle. There's no health concerns, no priority. So, Mike, then you start getting occasional symptoms. At what age did you start, growing up, did you go to the doctor for drugs or shots and stuff or for problems with your health? When was it, Mike? Would you know?
Um, okay, so say 20s.
Yeah, so generally what happens is either in our childhood years or our teens and 20s, we start having, and you want symptom care. Now, symptom care, you start having a small concern, and you start realizing, like, wow, I have some issues. So you either took drugs or exercise or got some physical therapy or physio in Canada, and massage and chiropractic and surgery or nothing. Now, I say chiropractic, you went one time or a couple times and got, snap, crackle, pop. Well, now your current age is 45. You were aware of it at 10. Now that you took the test, so we got 35 years. You're serious. You have serious health concerns now. It's not going away. You're sick and tired of being sick and tired. So your exam is going to show you how you've adapted the scans and your X-rays to 35 years of stress. Okay, but I know your pain just came recently in the last year and a half, but and here's where I'll take a side note, not telling them this. When you say, "Hey, Mike, stress, you've been there a long time. It's been going on a long time. It's going to take a long time." All I'm doing there is for you going, "Hey, guess what? Um, they just want me to come a long time." So now let's look in. We went over the tracing, right? You know how about the tracing? No, probably not them.
Oh, on the scans, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So you're saying here's a normal healthy, and that's on YouTube. If you go YouTube Dave Major, you'll see me doing. I looked at them last night. I look a lot younger, and my hair is darker. It's like, oh my gosh. Anyways, but that was like probably 15 years ago, 20. So now I've established what I've done is put the responsibility on you. You have taken 35 years of taking pills, potions, and lotions and address the symptom. Why I'm different, Dr. Michael, Mike, is Dr. Major. We address the cause. We're not gonna, and I put my hand on there. We don't cover up the symptom. Okay. Now, so what that does now is realize that, look at this, it's a healthy pattern, 35 years, look at what's happened to your pattern. Is this healthy or unhealthy? It's unhealthy, right? You see, you're on this unhealthy journey. So now, and then you can do you know the spike charts onto on the right side of the cervical, and then you can see it alternate, and then I draw a line down the thoracic. You see, and so these alternating curves, that's your compensation. Everyone knows compensation. So now what you've established before you're going to show these X-rays and scan is 35 years of stress. Okay. Now you go over your report and scan, and so after you do that, now currently, what do you say after that? After you say you just showed me the scans and X-rays. Where do you go from there?
Well, I do a lot with the X-rays. So I don't know how much you want me to say about that.
Well, you go over the X-rays. Okay, you don't have to go over that. About here's the degeneration, here's the loss of curve. You see these angles, Da, 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 da. After you show them that, does anybody ever
So
say they're surprised, or like wow, like they didn't
yeah,
realize? Okay, all
yeah.
right, okay, and I'll tell you why on that. Hold on a minute. Let's see, X-rays. Wow, why? Okay, all right. So okay, so you're done my X-rays. You're done showing me. What are you going to tell me now?
So yeah, in that process of the X-rays, I'll just say quickly, I'll say, what do you see? Well, it's straight, it doesn't have the curve. What is that doing to the connection between your brain and the body or the nerve flow? It's cutting it off. Um, and what is that going to do to your health? Well, it's going to be bad. What should we do about it? We should fix it. Okay. And then I would say, based on what you heard so far, do you feel this is the right place for you to get the help that you need? Yes. Okay. Well, let me tell you how that works. Based on the phase 2 of degeneration, that could take 2 to 5 years to correct. And what we're going to do today is we're going to get started with the first 3 months. How does that sound to you? Good. Okay. And then I go through, well, how we do 3 times a week, progress exams. And then after that, we'll talk about moving on towards wellness care. How does that sound? Good. And then we talk about the cost of it,
Okay, okay,
and then get the financial agreement, and then we go ahead and adjust them. But
okay.
I've already done a group report where I've explained a lot of those things. So by the time they see their X-rays, it makes sense. It's easy.
Okay, so you're doing the stress test now, and when do you approach the stress test? When do you discuss it with them? The second visit?
Um, Really, I haven't been discussing it more than just getting the information on the first visit and making them aware. And then I'll say, which area do you think has contributed to your health the most, physical, emotional, or chemical? And they'll tell me, yeah, okay. Um, and you've had this for 35 years. Yep. All right. So that's how I've been using it. I haven't really gone beyond that.
Okay, no, no. At least you've been putting that in. Um, so so one thing before you say, the phase 1 or 2 it takes 2, 3 years. What do you see? Let me ask you this question: do you see a difference in them saying, um, understanding the longevity of? Well, you've never been saying up until Mike about the phase 2 of degeneration, right?
I
You never.
have, yeah, yeah.
Oh, you
That's
did. Okay, good. Okay,
yeah,
good.
years I've been doing that.
Perfect. Oh, great. You probably learned that from the the schmucky war. No, sorry, the warriors who
Yeah.
get in it. Go. Sorry, Lord, didn't mean that. Okay, so okay, at least plant that in. Um, but do you see a difference? And again, be honest. I don't care. Now that you say 35 years, you're not taking the stress test. You have 35 years. You're in phase 2. It's going to take a couple of years. Do you see a little more less resistance, or no really difference in awareness of the stress of the longevity they've had?
More awareness of the stress and the other factors, because a lot of people think, oh, I just lifted something funny the other day and that's why my back hurts. So, from that perspective, people are starting to say, oh yeah, well, I've had this stress in my life. I've been sitting at my job for 20 years.
Okay,
Um,
good, good.
things. They're making that long-term connection. Um, I guess the way Mike says it's more of a process than an event. Um,
That's what this is. That's what this does too. So
yeah,
what I think you'll see in the W is the downward spiral that it's been there a long time. It's called, well, now it's like causing your health to go down, and creating more damage. So before though you say, so basically, put that number before that, whether even if it's 17 years or 10 years. For 10 years, you know you've had 10 years of stress building up, and that has caused phase two. Well, no, let's even say that. Before you say that, you got to say, so if it took 10 years to get there, it's going to take a while. Do you see that? Even though I know you felt, that a month ago you lifted something wrong, it wasn't just then, it's been accumulating over time. And you can say, just like a heart attack, it's not the cheeseburger you ate that day for lunch. The heart's been building up, and then finally it breaks. Wouldn't it be better to avoid the heart attack? Blah blah blah. So now you establish that you say that 35 years, it's going to take a while. Then right. That's why phase two, after 35, keep throwing that number out. 35 years, we're going to see that it takes a couple years, but let's start with 3 months and see how you respond. So it's like, oh, okay, 30, 35 years to just a couple years, you know. So it puts responsibility on them. It's like, why did I get here? Why am I so messed up? And I didn't realize it. And again, it's about what I'm going to explain about the posters real quick before the scan. So now we go. So basically, the first is the relief phase. Mike, and again, they probably know the feeling versus function. They see the 10%. Symptoms are the last to show, first to go. The changes in our re-exams, re-evaluations are there's going to be changes. Don't look at colors, look at the pattern. That's why you start to see the pattern not be so wigged out. It's getting more organized. Number two, we address the cause, like I said earlier, not cover the symptom, and restoring your health is a process, okay? And it's a process to get here. It's a process to go back. So now what happens is, so they know that, guess what? I do this whether you do it or not. So basically, you got all this compensation. I start to adjust you. Your body's going to do this. Boom, 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 boom. So you have some ups and downs. That's expected. So you're pre-framing them so they understand that. Said jump on the bandwagon. Okay. So, but when you get out of pain, right here, this is the most important part. When we stabilize and repair, guess what? When the pain's gone, that's when the majority of the healing takes place. And people think, well, the pain's gone, the problem's gone. No. Okay, that's just the small part. If you do quit, then people usually continue on down. It just slows up the process. Here's an analogy. Michael, you get braces on your teeth, whether you or anybody, it hurts the first part. There's pain. Once the teeth start to shift and corrective care, then guess what? There's no pain, but the actual correcting process is done. Michael, did you ever wear a shoe that wore a blister on your foot?
yeah.
When you take the shoe off, what noise do you make? Ah.
Uh,
Okay. So we finally get that irritation off. Ah. But does the blister and the damaged tissue heal immediately? When and
mhm,
only when can it heal? When the shoe's off and stays off. I
right.
finally get that joint stabilized, it can repair, and then now the journey has changed. You see the arrow, we're going on a healthy journey. All right? And then as it goes, you still got emotional, mental, these other stresses you can deal with. You're not going to coach them and all that. And then guess what? When the teeth are corrected, guess what? You put a retainer for 10 years. So I don't just want to get you well, Michael. I want to keep you well. Okay? I want to get you out of pain, correct it, and keep it corrected.
Okay.
Does that sound good? Huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
3 questions, Michael. Okay. Number one, Remember when you had no concerns, and then you started having some problems in your 20s, and now you're 40 some? I want you to know that if you choose not only to get out of pain and correct your problem and keep it corrected, you're going to hit this thing. Why did I see Dr. Major? It's not a big priority anymore. If you start thinking here like you did there, and I usually circle this on their paper and then end up here, what's going to happen? They go, we're going to end up back there. That's right. You know, you got to keep it going. So number two question, um, if it took if it took 35 years, sorry, to get to this point, how long is it going to take us to correct it and get you back up to a lifestyle, a healthy wellness lifestyle? They say two things: 35 years, or it's going to take a while. Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Last question, Michael. If it took 35 years to get here, okay, and let's pretend, those couple girls here, are you going to leave your wife and those two kids home for 35 years of their life before they come in? That's why we check all people, because if they're in this phase, they can move right along and miss this whole journey that you have to go through. That's why. That's why we check all kids, because again, so questions or comments? Does that make sense? I mean, honestly, be honest. If there's something bugs you, tell me.
It does make sense. I'm trying to think how to implement it best. So the W poster you're doing as part of the report of findings.
Yes.
Okay. And then where it comes up in the middle of the W, is
Yeah.
that the up and down, back and forth
Yeah. This.
part of the
Yeah.
care?
Again. This. Yeah. Exactly. So what happens? Not always does it go up and down. We talk about retracing. Pat and I would
Yeah.
say, here's a problem. You got a closet full of junk and it's messy. You clean it out. Now it's better. But guess what? Now you turn back behind you and you got all the junk you got to get rid of. So basically, we say that you have a huge problem. You correct it, and you might have some ups and downs, but and that depends on your commitment and staying and listening to what I say. But still, don't be surprised. For instance, Michael, did you ever fall asleep on your arm? I
Yeah.
mean, your arm fall asleep because you laid on it. Okay, when
Yeah.
you correct it, does it feel great, or does it tingle and start to go, ah?
It
Okay,
tingles for a bit.
right. So we're waking up those nerves. So don't be surprised, because if you don't pre-frame them, Michael, it's like, hey, Monica, I'm not going back to see Dr. Michael. Guess what? I'm feeling worse. I should
Right.
feel worse. We're waking some things up. So this phase, this is watch this. You're responding to care, but guess what? Responding to care. But on these re-scans, re-exam, we're going to scan you and see how you are on this journey. We're just not going to have you. Well, I'm just not going to poke. I like this. Poke, pop, and pray, and say, keep coming, keep coming. We're gonna monitor. It's like looking at a map. Are we getting to our destination? Are we off course? All right. So yeah. So this could happen. A lot of times it doesn't. But I just want you to know that just like putting the braces on, they hurt at first, don't they? Okay. But you got to go through that pain, and then also get it, and then they start to shift. All right.
So I'm thinking about how I'm implementing, how I can do this. I do a group report, and then I go one-on-one, and I want to keep that one-on-one as short as possible because they're also getting their first adjustment. So through COVID, I haven't had a group of people, it's been limited, but I'm wondering if I put this into my group report
Uh huh.
and make it generic, but know ahead of time and let them know ahead of time what their number is, how many years they've been there, then I can say, without saying directly, for confidentiality, I could say, some of you, this might be 35 years, some of it might be 25 years, um, and do it more
Generic, right? And
generic.
I did that in Wisconsin, Mike. What I did was I said, okay, we don't have to stress that. I just want to kind of tell you. And there was baby 40 to 70 year olds there. Think of stress in your life, and I said, so did everybody at least go like this? Average at least 10 years or more. How many 20? How many 30? So people would raise their hand. So you see, I mean, just think if your car was out of the line badly for 10 years. Do you think you'd have
Right,
any tires left? No.
right.
Yeah.
And then the other part, I'm just wondering, so when I do the group report, I will show pictures of x-rays. I have a big TV out there in the main room that on a drive, I'll put the x-rays and go through them each. Do you happen to have this on a JPEG? I think it needs to be a JPEG that I could put it and it's still clear enough that I could put it on a big screen TV instead of pulling the poster off a wall and moving it
Yeah,
out.
yeah, I'll get that for you. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, I'll get that. I'm gonna call Craig, my buddy. I'm on the printer. Oh
okay.
shoot, guy in England wants my feeling versus function poster. I said, you'd be better off than me sending it. I gotta call Craig anyway for that, and just printing it out there instead of sending it to England and all the shit.
Probably.
Yeah, because I sent books to some guy in freaking Toronto and it cost me almost $100.
I know. Well, you should have drove them up.
No, no, yeah, I can meet you at the board. Hey, Mike.
Exactly.
Okay, so
Okay.
yeah, I think that'd be great. Now the other one that then so here's right now they're going, oh my gosh, he just wants me to come forever, and I actually have a script on this about going over this, so I'll send that. So
Okay.
now, oh geez, hold on. So now get this one in a JPEG too. Let me write that down. Um, W1, W2. So basically, people tonight, I've told you this. I've told you that you know, choice. The choice I recommend is you've had years and years of stuff, your healthy body, but your choice. You come in and you start getting on this journey to turn things around, and the pain stops, but you continue. You have chiropractic care, exercise, nutrition. Some you got to add this, all these healthy things along with chiropractic care, and okay, and that's the healthy journey. But some of you tonight might say, you know what? There's three choices. The first choice, um, I should change that. But anyways, choice number one: no actions, you'll continue to decline. You think this is crazy or you don't believe it. It's not a belief system. Gravity. You don't have to believe in gravity, but jump off the building, and I'll tell you what, gravity will slam you to the ground. Okay. Choice number two: some of you'll come in, feel good, and say, okay, I don't have to come in anymore. Your health will decline. Pain returns, you return. Pain stops, you stop. Choice number two, symptom care, temporary change, patch care. Okay? In what direction, people, and ask them, what direction is choice one and two going? Towards healthy or unhealthy? Unhealthy. But here's the biggest thing right here: no middle road. There's no middle road. Every day you're either getting healthy or getting sick. Sick is a process. Okay, it's not an event. So I just want you to know. That's why. Do you see why now? Maybe even say why people say, "Oh, just pop my back or crack my back." It's not about that because they're bringing me all these years of stress and unhealthiness. Boom, and it's going to take time. So, so this,
Okay.
so this is showing them the pros and cons. Everything has a positive, negative. So this is what I feel is positive, but this is the flip side of the coin, if you will. If you choose this choice one and two, okay. Question you
Okay.
would say.
No, I guess I've been trying to throw this in at the end of 3 months and it's too late. Um,
Yes,
I
very
need
good.
I need to put these in my report and let them know up front. And then when I come back to it at progress exams, hey, do you remember we talked about this? Which way are we headed? Which way do you want to go? Um,
Yes.
okay.
Do you
All
want?
right. I need,
Here's easy. Do you want to like Lisa Crawford says? Um, she couldn't do a year program. I said you don't have to do a year program. I said you basically. She said going back to that one, 36 visits. When it's corrected, you don't just give me on pain. You want to correct the problem, right? We'll correct it. So everyone signed up. 96%, 97, whatever. She'd say, Mike, do you want to keep it corrected? That's all she would say. Do you want to keep it corrected? They say, yeah. Okay, well, you did 36 visits. Well, just think, in the next 2 years, you'll do 36 visits. If you come
right.
in, or a year and a half, a couple times a month, maybe once a month, maybe twice a month, but my year program is X amount. and then you just continue to get well.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay,
So I
what?
need to work on my communication, my wording of all this, and put it into my reports. Um, I'm pretty sure it's a JPEG form that I need for the to work on the TV.
To work on okay, hold on. Let me write that down. And
I'm
I'll
just
ask Craig. Craig's really good to
I'm just
work
gonna
on.
double check that here. Phil, sorry, real quick. You know when we put stuff on the TV, they're in JPEG form, right? Okay, thanks.
Crap.
Yeah, JPEG if it's possible. And
Okay.
the
It
other
is. It is possible.
the other thing, if you're talking to him, is I don't know if it's the same, but I know he sent me a poster to do for Family Week, and I tried printing it up, but at the printers, the pixels were no good. So to blow it up more than a small 9x5 postcard, it was all blurry. So I didn't even do it. Um,
Okay.
Making sure it's clear enough for the,
I'll check on that. That's a good point. I want
it
to ask
should be
you.
fine.
Sorry.
It
I
should
want to
be
ask you.
fine.
Sorry. Sorry.
Yep.
I want to ask you a question. What do you think of this? I got ticked at this lady, is a CA, in Fargo about 25 years ago. I don't understand this. And I drew a pit. I drew like 2 blocks. If the vertebrae's okay, nerve okay, muscle okay, or whatever. So this is what I have. Tell me if you think this is good. So we're going to do a scan of the autonomic. Vertebrae works properly, nerves work properly, blood vessels, organs, and glands work properly. So we're going to do a scan along here. If it's healthy, we'll get a normal reading. If the vertebrae are out of alignment or problems, then we'll have, too much or too little. There'll be an imbalance in skin temperature. So if real simple, vertebrae don't work properly, nerve don't work properly, blood vessels don't work properly. Same thing with the muscles. If the nerves work properly, then the muscles work properly. If the nerves don't, then if the vertebrae is not working properly, then this doesn't work. So you got an imbalance in that. I mean, and I did that. It was just real barbaric. She's like, "Oh wow, that does that." I mean, do you like that or not? I mean, I'll just send it to you. You can look at it, marinate it.
I like it. It looks a little cartoonish,
Okay.
like, I don't know. I would say try and update it if you're gonna use it, but
Well, I
uh,
don't know if I want. That's why I never really messed with it. But it kind of. I'm telling you what. You think that's cartoonish? You see what I wrote. I wrote like, you know. Well, yeah, I don't have to do it. You can understand just a square and a square, nice and even, and a
yeah,
line even.
but
Boom.
sometimes, again, the simple things are they get the message across, right?
Right. And I will send. I'm gonna send you. I think I did already, but I won't. Um. Let's see. Fuck. I got so many pens and how many don't work? Auto chart or poster. Okay, not poster. Um, shoot, what was I gonna tell you? Auto poster. Dang it. So what was I? What was I talking about? I don't know. Choices. Okay.
All right.
So I'm gonna do this real quick. This. Put that down there. Um, no, no, that's the wrong one. So when you do, okay, I know to say when you do the scans,
Yeah.
um, what do you say prior to that? Oh, that's what I'm gonna do too. Is send. I swear I did. Uh, pre-scan. I'm gonna send you the script and also. What do you say to them?
So what I do is
You just kind of said the colors, right? Say that again.
yeah, so but before that though, I've done the history of the consultation, and then I've done the stress test. Okay, we're gonna do some tests today to determine if you have subluxation or something like that. Um, So we're going to measure how much stress is on your nerves. And then I'll have them sit on the table where they're facing the feel and function poster. And I said, before I do this, let me tell you, we've talked about the nerves and where they go. There's 3 types of nerves: sensory, motor, autonomic. And sensory is only 10%. The other 90% does everything else. And so today we're measuring more of function, not necessarily pain or how you feel. Does that make sense? Yeah. And then I do the scan.
Okay. Okay. I'll send you that. What you need? Here's what I say, and I have it. I did a video on it. Okay. So, Mike, I'm gonna send you this. So, okay, before I do a scan, there's 3 types of nerves: motor, autonomic, and sensory.
Yep.
So, let me explain real briefly. So, motor nerves. Let's pretend that you had a nerve coming out of your body and controlling your muscle, and I was able to take a pair of pliers and squeeze it real tight. What do you think would happen? Think as a patient.
It wouldn't work.
Nah, see, no, what? And I pinched this real, and I'm pretty strong. Squeezed it tight as it could be. Don't you think they say, ouch, that would hurt?
Oh, yeah,
They would. Okay.
yeah.
So, no, basically what would happen is this, Mike. It caused weakness, spasm. It would change the activity of the muscles, fatigue, tightness. Because a lot of people go, oh, especially these jerks, big, strong guys, like me, go, what controls the muscle? Muscle. No, nerve. Okay. So what if I cut that nerve, Mike? Go into that muscle. What would happen?
It wouldn't work.
That's right. It wouldn't work at all. So it's not about feeling. It's going to change the function of the muscle, how it performs. Okay. Now let's
Mm-hmm.
look at the autonomic. If I took the nerve going to your lungs and pinched it real tight, what do you think would happen? Automatically, they start to say, "Well, it's not about pain. It wouldn't work." Exactly. You'd have more breathing problems. It goes to allergies, breathing problems, stomach. So it wouldn't function properly. Exactly. What if I cut it? It doesn't work at all. So basically, 90% of the nerve is all about function. Now, the part about feeling, sensory, is the smallest part. And in that sensory, you have communication, temperature, position, and pain. So the smallest part is pain, okay, which feeling good does not equal good health. Good health equals healthy function. I want you to remember that, Mike, because the House study here, Nerve Road, 1993, nerve pressure can't exist without pain. So you see what you're doing about that the next day with the chart of your health decline and you don't know about it. This is
Yeah.
what's important. But watch the language now. So let me ask you. So right now, Mike, what do you think people? This crap. What do you think people are thinking right now? They never heard this before, right? Okay.
Right.
So I am going to prove my point. It's a chiropractic theory. You're crazy, buddy. Well, let me show you something to show you I'm not crazy. All right? Choice versus chance. You have a choice, Mike, in determining your quality of health, or you can take a chance. Basically, you have physical, emotional stress. Yeah, they already took the. No, they don't. Have they taken the test before the scan?
Yes.
Okay, so you've had stress. We're going to go over that. Chemical, emotional, from birth, okay, early age, and misalignments, deterioration, disease. Over time, just like this plunger, the most dangerous symptom of all is no symptom. Why? And I won't pop it up because, and they're right together. I go like this. You've based your health, and I cover up the symptom part on the poster. You've based your health on 90% and avoided the 10. So most, dangerous symptom like heart disease, largest killer. Well, it's American, sorry. Hypertension, silent killer. Diabetes, silent killer. There's like a couple years ago, 25 million people had diabetes. 18 million didn't know they had it. Why? Because they weren't tested. And then subluxation. So don't get delayed. Right now we're testing, but guess what? The quality of health is based on your responsibility. So let me ask you a question, Mike. And I'm being real quick, only so again. Is that how do you know? And then I go back to the poster, which I'm not. How do you know if this 90% is working if you can't feel it? How can you tell if it's working?
Uh, I, I think
That's
people
what
will
they'll
say,
do. I don't know.
I don't know how you feel. It's not
Yeah.
about
So
how you
even if I
feel.
ask you how you feel, do you think that's a good way? So guess what? So that's why we have this this instrument. you know, and look at this nice leather like a gauge. I don't guess in my clinic. I gauge. I'm not going to poke, pop, and pray. So basically, definition of health, you don't have to say this if you want, you know, according to the World Health Organization, it's not merely the absence of symptom of disease. Normal function equals health. The key to health is function. So I am going to, and you go back, see how your motor nerves and autonomics are working by gauging this. And this is the wrong scan. I did this for freaking mild vision for a body by God guy. You know, if it's below normal, hypo, we'll see yellow. White is normal. I don't know why this is not the right one. Mild, severe, moderate, severe. You know, function, and then severe malfunction. Then black is off the chart. Why I did that? Chris Kent said, "Dave, why'd you do that?" I said, "Listen here, stupid." I always bust his child. He's like the little kid. You know, I'd be like Zac Efron, walk down the hall, the big jock, and he's the nerdy guy. Like, hey Dave, hey Dave. You know, but he's a great guy. I love the guy. He blesses my heart. He walked through the. I'll tell you a little side. He with his cane walked through this whole thing restaurant because Monica's with me. She's not hardly ever with me, and he goes, "Mrs. Major, I saw you." I mean, it was a struggle for him, and I just want to say I'm very impressed with you because you put up with this guy. You know, he's. And I said, and I had tears in my eyes. I said, Chris, that's the sweetest thing. You don't have to be on stage. You're off stage. No one's looking. You did this because that's your character. Anyways, so I go. So we're going to gauge this 90% by this, and this makes it a centerpiece by saying that. Okay, what did you like or not like about is? Oh, sorry. The last thing I want to ask you, Michael, is this: if seem like I'm beating at a dead horse, if you can't feel 90% what's going on, do you think your scan's going to look better or worse than you feel?
What are the worst?
Probably worse. And guess what, Michael? You came in for your low back's bothering you that. We probably will find areas because of the spine's a whole unit that you don't even know that it's affected because you're compensating. So because people that say, "What, my neck? I don't have any problems with my neck," but you see, well, you see, it's starting to create problems in the other part of your neck. Okay, or other parts. So what do you think about that? I mean, I tell you, it's really when you do it that way. Here's about the nerve. Explain the nerve, and then
Yeah.
out. Look at all the diseases that you don't know. Ask this question, Mike. By the time you have a symptom, what do they say? It's too late, right?
Late. Yeah.
Exactly. That's why
Yeah.
we have this technology. So we put other things to verify our philosophy. I mean, it's a normal thing. It's a in the Grey's Anatomy. I mean, this is a true autonom. I mean, you know, whatever. You know what I mean? Okay.
Yeah.
And then, so how do we know? We gauge it. We just don't poke, pop, and pray and say, keep coming.
Right.
Okay. Did do you think? I mean, you say a lot of good things. Don't get me wrong, but tell me what part of these three, the gauge or the other one, or how I said about the feeling versus function that you liked that you're not saying.
Um, More about the feeling and function. And I guess what I'm trying to do is think in my mind how I do things and what's best to implement for who I am and what I do. I like what you said there. Now, I do this during my report, but I think if I do it during my initial visit, it has more power in the report. But talk about, I start with pain, but you started with the muscle. If I put a pair of pliers on the muscle or on the
On the nerve going to the muscle.
nerve
Right.
or the muscle, um, and what surprised me, well, yeah, my response was, well, it doesn't work, but the patient's response is, well, it's going to hurt. I'm like, no. So I like that. So I can do better around this poster to what I'm doing, which will
Okay.
then set me up better for the report.
Right. And remember, people out there hear things 6 times, so don't feel bad. You're right, though. The initial part of setting them up at the very beginning of wowing them and then hearing it again. So,
So
it,
yeah, I think right now, I'm feeling overwhelmed with life. I'm
I
glad
know.
you're recording this. So I'm going to spend more time going over your lingo and language about the posters, and I'm going to implement the W and the health is a journey better into my reports and do the feeling and function better in my initial visit. Um, at the same time, I don't want it to become too long. So I need to look at what I'm doing and what is important and what is not. Cut the fat and put these in place. I want to put these in place better because I think it's the W and the journey. If I do that in the report, then when I come back to it in a progress exam, that's what's going to help retention, right?
No, I agree, and you know what? It's funny you say we're on the same page. You're usually Mr. Writer, and I know you weren't writing stuff, but I know this is being recorded, so that's a good thing. Um, and here's the last thing that I got to do this. I should have somebody do it because I say I'm going to do it. I wrote this subluxation brochure, and they they sold it. Sometimes they didn't, or whatever. Okay. Now there's a lot on there. All I do is I'm going to write one page. This one right here. Um, does anybody ever think they hear EMG and testing that it's going to hurt? I mean, here's all I'm going to do right now, and I'll send this to you too. I'm going to send you a lot, buddy.
All right.
Okay. Does this hurt? Absolutely not. Oh, okay. Who? This does not utilize needles, electrical shock. These are just receiving information from you. Everything thinks it's inputting. Number two, why are you doing this test? Our purpose meant to detect and pinpoint abnormal function which cannot be seen on x-rays. X-rays show stress to the bone, this shows stress to the nerve. And then it talks about the test. Why is it important? Now, I have a dime in the clinics I owned. I had a dime in there. So I would say, so basically, you want the best results, which they don't think we do. He or she can monitor the changes through periodic exam. Okay, now, it's been proven the very slight amount of pressure, the weight of a dime can cause a disturbance in communication, whether or not symptoms are present. And I do have this. Do I have? Oh, shoot. Chung Hao Su, Colorado University. I love
Yeah,
that stuff. I put it.
Dr. Sue. And I talked about that in my report, and I have a dime, and I say, the weight of a dime.
So do this too. Very good, very good. I tell them just barely touch the back of your hand, so everybody can do it. Okay, now if I get 50% pressure off, which is a 50% improvement, are you gonna notice that? You know. So number one, they realize that light pressure can cause blockage, 60% blockage. Okay, so the key they said so the advanced technology is vital to monitor your spine how it's working. The key to improving your health. The big question at the bottom: how will this benefit me? For years, major concern is the public. Why do I have to keep coming back if I'm pain free? How do I know if I'm getting the proper amount of adjustments? Now you're actually able to see the changes, and it'll be easier to understand the amount and type of care you're receiving. Because of this technology, your chiropractor can prove a tailor-made program for your health needs. So it's like, you hit them right where the elephant's in the room.
Yeah.
How do you know? So if they read this before they do the test, and here's my best thing. This is why, sorry, the Lord gave me this. This is why I love my symmetry chart, asymmetry. This is initial scan. I know this is bad. This is a normal function. We say here's normal. You see initial, and I do this in screenings. Then we can show you your improvement. But look at this. A lot of times you don't, and I told Pat this, and I'm so mad. People freak out and they almost cry, like, why in the heck didn't they tell me this? They don't have this as a default. People will get and go, oh shoot, you don't have much colors, but you see the pattern. Even if you traced it, then you can see that this is almost flat. But look at when this is the asymmetry compared to this. This doesn't look like anything, but look at the pull in the low back. So it goes the percentage of readings indicate graph of the spine pulling along the spine. Muscle balance is extremely important because vertebrae and spine depend on the muscles to move it properly. If one vertebrae is out of alignment, and then I said something like here, so the abnormal pattern in the scan reveals increased amount of tension and pull on one side compared to the other, similar to tug of war. So it's like a tug of war. So Michael, you have say 10 microvolts here, 5 here. So if you take 5 out and put 5 there, we have 100% more pull. I want you to know, don't be surprised. Remember the up and down W? Don't be surprised if you see it on the other side. Because what if we had, they're winning, and we say, what if we take 6 guys out of here, and they drop out? What happens? Zing.
The other way. Yeah.
Okay, so I'll send this to you too.
Okay.
So, yeah, do you see how you're just missing some key little parts in the setup of them to make what you do currently, the next visit in your report even better?
Yeah.
I love you. Can I adopt you? I want to adopt you.
Oh, gee.
Oh, that's too much on the video. Sorry, time out. Well, that's why I'm passionate about what I do, and
Yeah.
you can read all this. See, everybody thinks it's just when we talk about symmetry, but then here we don't want clumping. We show the difference, measuring the tenderness, deterioration, and what's funny is when I had this written, I had somebody read it, and they read the whole thing. They go, "What's a subluxation?" So funny. So look at that's why I put this in here. So state of art detects areas of nerve disturbance, documents, monitors results, deliver appropriate care. The 3 Ds. Okay. A problem in the spine where abnormal position of movement of the vertebrae disturbs communication within the central nervous system, causing a disturbance in your body. Okay. But I'll send you this.
All right.
Cool. All right. Well, I know you're Mr. Whatchamacallit, Mr. Whatchamacallit. When you do read it and stuff, I want you, even like when we get done, write down some of the key things you learn by just looking at it. When you look at it more, you go, "Oh, this helps this." I want to know the key points, and that would help me in saying,
Okay.
okay, all
Yeah.
right, all right. I'm sorry it took so long. Apologize.
That's right. I appreciate it.
Worth
I
it.
need to go home now and finish packing, and then
Oh, you'll go right from work then to the.
I'm gonna leave work straight to the airport.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right. Let me pray, dear Lord. How we love you, Lord, and that all good things come from you. And Father, even though our life is not good sometimes, we know that this is where you pick us up in your arms and you carry us, and we appreciate that. You hurt when we hurt. You cry when we cry. Um, and so, Lord, I love my brother Mike, and my heart hurts for him. But Lord, I know in these all years of being a Christian that I know because I know that you're with him. I love what he said today about, well, today's not, it's been a a stressful day, but oh well, today's a new day. It's a great attitude. I pray a hedge around him. I pray that the blood of Jesus would just cover him, and I rebuke Satan in the name of Jesus Christ. There's power in his name. I rebuke him, and I know that all things will work together for good for that love him. Pray that you touch his body. Pray that he accepts his healing, Lord, whether he feels it or not, and that, Lord, you will be a true testament of your love for Mike, and have a safe trip there and back. Have a great time with his sister and his mom, and Lord, we just give you all the praise and glory, Lord, and everything. Give thanks, good, bad, indifferent, ugly, whatever. Give thanks, for this is the will of God. And Lord, this is going to be a huge testimony for for Mike in his life and for others that he can minister to down the road. But right now, we just pray an amazing uh, uh, touch of your mercy and grace and your spirit in his life. And we thank you in Jesus' name. Amen. Amen. All right.
Thank you.
When I don't talk, I'm ready to lose it. But you know what? Praise God for you. You've touched my life, and I hope to touch yours. And this is iron sharpening iron. We are men of God that we're going to stand firm. We're not going to give up. Somebody said something last night. You'll love this. Was it Tozier or somebody says we need to smell more like sheep. We need to smell. Isn't that good?
Yeah.
And this is where we start to smell more like sheep. And again, I just praise God and call me anytime. I love you, man. Okay, armor up, stand up, to speak up, to show up, boom, to blow it up. Okay, wear your heart on your sleeve. It's all about the heart, man. Okay, you got a heart, and don't be defeated, because greater is He that is in you than he that is in the world. Okay, all right, love you, man.
Thank you. I can't even speak.
Anytime. Bye bye.